How about when they asked these two never-Trumpers, what exactly do you think you impeach him for? And they stood there and went like, what? But they're unraveling, and their sinister plans will fail. They've already failed, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there you got the President of the United States making his third trip to Louisiana last night in hopes that a Republican is elected as governor there. Let's bring in Donald Trump Jr., son of the president. He's also the executive vice president of the Trump Organization and author of a #1 New York Times bestseller, Triggered, How the Left Thrives on Hate and Wants to Silence Us. Don Jr., good morning to you.
Morning, guys. How are you?
We're doing okay. So in 90 minutes, we're going to see the second round of televised impeachment inquiry. The comments from this Ambassador Yovanovitch. What are you expecting today?
I imagine more of the same nonsense. We saw that last time. We saw clueless government bureaucrats. I mean, this is the sort of stuff that Americans hate to see because you realize how incompetent we are perceived abroad when these guys are on this stand. You saw Democratic Congress people the other day saying, he said, she said, third-party hearsay is oftentimes better evidence than actual direct evidence. I mean, imagine selling that with a straight face to the American people, and that's where they are. They have no way of winning in 2020. They have disastrous candidates, so they have to try to take them out here today, and it makes no sense. It's getting old. Let's get back to business.
Don, that has seemed to be the case. You're exactly right. It looks like they got a bad crop in 2020 that can't beat the president, so they're pursuing impeachment hearings, but they'll never say that. Well, unless it's Comrade Cortez, who was on another network and had this to say about what this impeachment might all be about. Listen.
At the end of the day, we have to be able to come together as a caucus, and if it is this Ukrainian allegation that is what brings the caucus together, then I think we have to run with however we unify the House. We also need to move quite quickly because we're talking about the potential compromise of the 2020 elections. And so this is not just about something that has occurred. This is about preventing a potentially disastrous outcome from occurring next year.
Preventing the disaster next year.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, she's saying it out loud, but so has Hillary, so has numerous people where they say, hey, we can't beat him at the polls, so we got to impeach him today. There's no basis for it. I mean, the people that are involved don't even have a basis for it. And by the way, each and every time they come up with something, it doesn't work, we just move the goalposts again. I mean, that's sort of their standard play. Well, it's not this anymore, now it's that. What's polling well with the people so we can try to do damage to him at the polls through this inquisition? It never ends, but they realize they have a terrible field. It's why a couple of their biggest funders, whether it's Tom Steyer, whether now it's Bloomberg, have entered the race because the 17 clowns that were in there before didn't work for those guys. I mean, think of what that means. Some of their biggest funders are saying, this field is terrible. I'm going to have to get in the thing myself. It's amazing. It's just totally ridiculous. But we're seeing it play out in front of our eyes. But more importantly, the American people get it, guys. The American people see this sham exactly for what it is. They're overplaying their hand, as they have done each and every time. Donald Trump is crushing it for America. He's putting up numbers in the economy that have never been seen before, and he's doing that despite zero, not one little bit of help from the other side. Now, they could do even more. Nancy Pelosi's been sitting on the USMCA for 9 months. That could be passed, create hundreds of thousands of jobs for Americans. They could work on infrastructure. But no. We have to do whatever we can to damage Trump because going into 2020, we don't have a field that can win. And that's a very sad state of affairs for the American people.
That might be why Deval Patrick jumped in the race yesterday. This is what he had to say, Don.
He said, I'm jumping in the race.
He said he was jumping in the race. He said that he is a capitalist. Sorry, I thought we had a soundbite. And he said that, what did he say about the Hail Marys? He said that would be a Hail Mary.
He said, my candidacy is like a Hail Mary from 2 stadiums away, which doesn't sound like he even believes he can.
What do you think about him jumping in the race, though? Because he could get a lot of votes from the black community. People in that area love him. It would give Elizabeth Warren a run for her money.
Well, I mean, it sounds like a winning plan. He really seems like he's in it to win it. Again, it's sort of interesting, though, given some of the connections there. I wonder if that was sort of, tacitly done with some of the Obama team to kind of get the okay to jump in at this point, given those prior relationships that I've heard about. So it probably speaks more about how bad Joe Biden is as a candidate, given the connections there, than anything else. But again, I don't know that it changes anything. I don't know that anyone in America looks to Massachusetts as this great, savior state of someone who's going to get things done as the communist capitalism that these guys have been promoting all along. So I don't actually think it goes anywhere. It just, drags the nonsense on for a longer period of time. All you need to do is look at the debates. When they spend more time talking about trying to limit Donald Trump's First Amendment right to free speech, and they don't even focus on things like China. Now, I don't know why. Maybe it's because they have nothing to offer the American people. They have no answers, only complaints.
Don, before you go, I mentioned you've got a #1 New York Times bestseller called Triggered, but the New York Times gave you a dagger suggesting that somebody bought a lot of books or bulk sales or something like that.
Well, listen, I think they do that to a lot of conservative books. I noticed even, Brian, congratulations. I think you sold a few thousand more than the #2 book, but they gave you the #3 slot. So they do that oftentimes. So I sold approximately 70,000 books. #2 on the list sold 30,000. They're saying that because the RNC did a promo where they literally marked up my book, sold 10,000 copies at a markup, so for a profit, for more than you could get it in a bookstore. They said, well, that's a bulk sale and doesn't count. So I said, fine, take those 10,000 out of my number. Congratulations. I still sold 2 times #2. But these are the sort of games. They must have been in major tears having to give me the #1 slot in that one. It must have drove them crazy. So I guess that's their way of exerting a little bit of revenge by putting an asterisk without getting into the details. But it's still good to be king. It's good to be #1. And,
still promoting.
And you told our viewers, you said, buy my book, not Brian's, because the Alamo's not going anywhere.
There you go. All right. Don Jr. joining us today from Florida.
The Alamo's been around for 200 years. It's not going anywhere. You can wait a week. But, Brian, congratulations on a great job as well, man.
He's actually out on the
I can't
tour
wait to
right
read
now.
it.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll let him know.
Thank you, sir.